all welcome you to our very first entrepreneur speaker series at Tarrant County College. And for this first series, our topic is From Kitchen to Business, Food Entrepreneurship in Tarrant County. So here's our three very successful, very talented, esteemed speaker, Tuan Lun from Ampersand, Chef Karim from Karim Catering, and Vang Le from Pho Pastor. And to get him started and get him excited, here's a couple of disclosure, okay? So for you all, remember that this event is being recorded and later it will be shared with students and the community. So keep that in mind. If you want to engage with us or ask questions, we ask that you use the chat, okay? So everybody put in hi in the chat so I know that you're listening, okay? Your microphone and your camera is muted, okay? To reduce the background noises. And if you, so to get you started, tell that in the chat. Are you a TCC student? Are you a staff? Are you a TCC faculty? Or are you a community guest? Put it in the chat for me, okay? Also, this event is 100% virtual, so we want to know where you are located. So put in the chat, including the speaker, where are you located? For example, for myself, I'm speaking from my home in Arlington, Texas. Okay. And then third, put it in the chat. What do you want to gain from today's webinar? All right. Do you want to learn how to start a food business? You want to learn how to grow your business? Okay, so put that all in the chat. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste that. Okay. And then so that. All right, so here the agenda for today. I would say the opening word, and then we will have all the speakers introduce themselves, and I will moderate the panel discussion. And during the panel discussion, I welcome you to put in your question and answer, what I will pick and choose for the speaker to talk at the end. And then we'll have a closing by Dr. Brown. All right. So here is, and actually Dr. Dr. Walker is supposed to do it, but she unable to be with us here today. So I'm just doing the opening for her. So what is the webinar today is about? We professor at Tarrant County College who teach business management entrepreneurship, we know there's a need. People who want to start a business. Okay, so we organize this webinar with that in mind. And a lot of our students, and Dr. Brown will agree that they love food. They love to start that bakery, that catering business, that coffee shop. And that's why the first topic will be how to turn food idea into viable business, from starting small and secure funding to attract customer and growing with confidence. So this session is designed with aspiring entrepreneur, active food business owner, and those who support entrepreneurship through education and partnership. All right. So with that, I am go to the next slide with me. So if you wonder like who's speaking, again, this is Professor Cathy Trinh. I have been with Connect campus for 17 years, and I teach business management and entrepreneurship. And here again is our three esteemed speaker. So I'm asking you, are we ready for the panel discussion? Are we ready to learn from them?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Let's get to it. So, let's start with the very. I'm gonna stop sharing to go back to the screen. And Stephen, if you can have spotlight the speaker, that'd be great. Thank you so much. All right. So Van, Chef Karam, and Tuan, tell us who you are. Tell about your business and how you got started. And who would like to go first? Raise your hand. Okay, Van, let's go.
Hey everyone, my name is Van. I have a business background working in corporate finance for about 10 years. And now I run Foot Pasture, a Vietnamese restaurant that has been serving the Arlington community for about 27 years now. Provide authentic Vietnamese food and also try to make a comfortable and enjoyable experience for our customer for each of their visits. So Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Van. And don't forget to put the website of your business in the chat so people can go and support you, okay? Who want to go next? Raise your hand.
I can go.
All right, Chef Karen, go ahead.
How you doing, everyone? My name is Chef Kareem with Kareem's Catering. I've been in business a little over 10 years now. I started out working in different restaurants, working under Wolfgang Puck, Charlie Palmer, and a couple of other master chefs. And then I came to Fort Worth and started working for a company called G Texas Catering. They're one of the second largest caterers in the state. So then I started learning the catering side of the business. And what really piqued my interest to get involved with catering is that I enjoy the flexibility of catering, getting to go to different locations, getting to cook different foods, meeting different people, and really just having a mobile operation where I can go anywhere in the world and set up and bring that delicious food to anyone in need. So I'm loving this food business. One of the main things I love about it is I get to eat. And also I enjoy, just serving people and putting a smile on people's face.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much, Chef Karen. And don't forget to put the website of your business in the chat so people can support you, okay? And Tuan, would you like to go next?
Sure. Yeah, my name is Ton Leung. Nice to meet you guys. I'm really grateful to be here. My friends and I, we own a local coffee shop called Ampersand. We started here in Fort Worth. We're celebrating our 10th year anniversary. We're currently 2 locations deep in Fort Worth and then another 2 in the airport. Just a little bit about something about my group and my team. We're young entrepreneurs, just like you guys are aspiring entrepreneurs. We're first generation college students as well as immigrants. And then more importantly, too, we were in the same position as you guys now. And so the reason why I'm doing it and I'm actually on this webinar is to help you guys. And I'm just really grateful of my own experiences. And I'm here to help you guys too as well. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing, y'all. And I always see a lot of great questions in the chat. It'll be hard for me to pick which one to answer. All right, so let's go to the meat of this. Tell us what were the biggest challenge in your first year, in your entrepreneurial journey, especially the first year, and how did you overcome it? Who want to go first? Chef Karen?
Yeah, of
All right, and then
course.
Tuan next, and then one next, okay?
Okay, great. So starting out, again, like I said, I started working for catering companies and learned the business, hands-on, the power of observation, watching people, volunteering when I would finish with my duties to learn other aspects of the business. So interestingly enough, the head chef didn't like dealing with the public and asked me did I want to be the face of the company. But as a line cook, I was like, sure, why not? So I got to start going on location to see all of the operations outside of just what goes on inside the kitchen. So getting to be on site, setting it up, serving the people and seeing the whole scope of catering from, a different point of view piqued my interest. So I started out just making lunches and letting people try my food. A lot of times we tell people how good we can cook and how good our desserts are, but one of the biggest sellers is the actual product. So I would encourage anyone to start making some samples, take them to some people and let them try it. And that's one of your biggest promoters. So what I did, I followed my own advice. I cooked a meal and showed up at the Chamber of Commerce unannounced. And lo and behold, that day they hadn't ordered lunch. So I walked in, I introduced myself. I said, how y'all doing? I'm Chef Kareem, and I brought lunch for everybody. And they were just in shock, but nobody's ever turned away free food. So I set it up. They ate the food. I got a standing ovation and I was about to leave. And they were like, tell us about your business. But I didn't know at the time, I pitched my business in front of 30 CEOs that were in street clothes ready to have lunch. So after I gave my pitch, they loved it. They got my information. And in the beginning, I didn't even have business cards. But you know what I did? I grabbed a piece of paper and I just started writing my number down and passing it out, handing it out. And I still do business with them companies today. So it was rough in the beginning, of course, not having a lot of financing and a lot of credit. But what I started to do is take the deposits from the event and start using that money to build my customer base. Allowing people to put a percentage down, use that money for supplies and inventory and things I needed, and then just start building from there and being real consistent with management. A lot of times we get to a point where we may have a lot of success one month and forget we have another month coming up. So one of the most important things is to learn how to manage, not just be a good cook or have good service, but you also have to learn how to not only just manage the food, but you have to learn how to manage your money. It's extremely important.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much, Karam. And I saw Tuan raise your hand. So go ahead, Tuan. And let's keep it in within a couple minutes, okay? Because we have so many questions in the chat, which I want to address also.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Cathy. My journey has been a journey of a lot of humility, to be honest with you. I feel, like I said, I feel grateful to be here. There's been so many obstacles, especially in that first year. But, in particular, where it correlates here is that like the first year, or I would say like the first inception of your idea for your business, to me, that's always one of the hardest things, is to keep it alive, and more importantly, to just actually make it come into reality. And so one, for me, in that first year of business, what's hard is learning how to manage your time, like what Chef just said, but also creating the right team as well. As you start developing your business, you start realizing, I would say how impactful other people are, and then more so how insignificant one person is. And so that first year is just learning about time management, and then capital, learning how to manage capital, cash flow, and everything in between. And then also allocating some time to actually manage the team. So, yep.
Excellent. Van, you want to go next?
Yeah, so I think the biggest point is really cash liquidity, because for myself, I'm in a different position. I was much younger at that point in time when the business first started. And so speaking with my family and kind of understanding what was going on, essentially, I think it's just keeping the business running, right? All the fixed costs, and making sure that you can get to a point where you can start snowballing and getting to that stage of, okay, now there's a growth stage, and that you can pay off your bills consistently. So the beginning stages, you need to have enough savings and enough capital to sustain the business over, it could be 6 months, it could be a couple of years, but and then the other point is like Chef Korean was saying, is that managing your costs, because that's for food business, that's what it's about. That's where the margins are at. And so you need to be able to manage your costs at a reasonable level so that you can sustain the business over time, rather than go to an expensive area, expensive rent. And everyone has their own let's say vision for their concept, but I would say control your costs at the beginning, so that you're testing out your ideas, seeing if it works, and then you see what works, what doesn't, and then go from there.
That's right.
Excellent. Thank you so much, everybody. All right, let's move on to the next question. Tell us, I know you guys make a lot of great decisions, and that's why you're here today, okay? You guys are some of the most successful food entrepreneurs I know. So tell us, like, what is one key decision? I know there's a lot of decisions, but you can only pick one, okay? One key decision that significantly help your business grow. For example, Tuan, you in how many locations, and it's not that easy to scale your location. And Chef Karam, you have served hundreds and hundreds of corporate clients. So who would like to answer this question? Who would like to go first? Raise your hand. Okay, so let's start with Chef Karam. Let's go with Van, and then let's end with Tuan, okay?
Yeah, one of the biggest decisions that I made was to use what I had. A lot of times when we start out, we want to buy everything. We in the food business, we want the new blender, we want the new mixer, we want all of this brand new equipment, but yet we may have something that's doing the job, but that's not good enough, because every time you see something, you constantly want to buy more. And that's a habit that you have to break early on, because if you can function with what you have, then you'll have more to work with. But if you're constantly spending, constantly restructuring your flyer, keep spending, then that's less that you make. So once I decided that I was going to use what I have, I saw my business take off because a lot of things I wanted, but I didn't necessarily need. So I used what I had and I worked with that till I got to a point to where I could start adding on new things and bringing on new people and things of that nature. So the main thing, like I said, is to work with what you have and make the best of it, because a lot of times we can list all the things that we don't have. The list is long. But if you can focus on what you have, you'll have more to do with. Focus on what you have more to do with. And then as you grow, then you can start bringing on new things, new equipment, new people as you build the business. But you can't do it overnight. And that's one of the things someone shared with me. Go slow and steady. And it has worked like a charm. Slow and steady. Slow and steady.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Chef Karam. And Vân, you want to go next?
Yes. So for what I've seen within the business that really that made a big impact was implementing, I think, technology. And I think probably this is more applicable for businesses that are a little older, that are run, say, mom and pop. And so I think utilizing technology to basically streamline your business, make things more efficient, operationally efficient, in terms of, it just takes less of the manual labor out, and you just uh, utilize that labor savings to different areas of the business, where instead of hiring additional person to do this job, now you have other people covering that additional headcount. And so I think for us, like, yeah, it's accounting, even back kitchen, just because the point of, I would say, for me, what's really important is really having a high capture rate of whenever a new customer comes into the business. You want to capture that, and if you're not operationally efficient and not being able to give that customer the great experience, of taking the order, sending the order back, getting in and out food quickly, and having everything taken care of, then I think that you're missing out. You're not maximizing or having efficient utilization of of your business. And so I think yeah, just it could just be implementing some kind of technology to get your time back in some way, one way or another.
Excellent. I love it. Technology. And I noted that in your restaurant, have you take over years ago, your online food order? I can tell that it is very active. Tuan, would you like to top it off?
Yeah, sure. I'll be a little bit contrarian to everyone else. Yeah, I feel like I'm learning every single day. Every single day I'm also messing up too as well. This is my 10th year. If I can kind of sum up one line of advice, it would be to work like your life depends on it, Cathy. Like, business is hard, guys. There's no easy way around it. If you're gonna get into it, know that it's not for fun. It is fun, but at the same time, there's a lot of different things, and I would say the infrastructure of the business is really important. So nailing that down, but more importantly too, when I say work like your life depends on it, know every aspect of your business. For me in particular, if it's washing dishes or sweeping to making deals, regardless of the scale. I remember when we first started 10 years ago with one store, now we're on our third store in the airport. Nothing really changes. Just you got to know every aspect of your business.
Agreed.
Wow, that's powerful.
Definitely.
All right, so next question. So this question will be very interesting. The question is, where do most food businesses lose money? And as a food business in this industry for a long time, how do you control that? You want to go first?
I'll go first.
All right, I guess start with Vân, go with Chef Karam, and then go with Tuan.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think for the food business, where we lose the most is obviously food costs, and right, and for the past past couple of years, beef prices have risen like crazy, and for our Vietnamese restaurant that serves beef pho, then that affects us hugely, and so
Mhm.
so and so when I say food costs, you really have to, you can't just go to one supplier and get everything from that supplier. You have to kind of shop around. You have to see, because one is shopping for prices, but also I would say quality. Quality is very important because that's
Mhm.
the quality of food that you buy and is what you serve the customers, And so you have to check around, see where the best prices are at, and go to that level of detail, I think, to really manage your food costs. Because if you're just gonna you know, uh, one-stop shop and do that. They said that there's margins to be gained, and those percentage points that you can get back is it could be a couple hundreds for starting business to a couple thousands later on, And so I think having good cost control for food and then also labor. Labor is extremely important. You got to see if
Mhm.
you like if you have too many people in the back on days that are unneeded, you got to properly assign that and calculate that and forecast that. And so I think you need to manage both sides very well, where the
Mhm.
cost side is food costs and labor.
That's true.
Excellent. Thank you. Chef Karen, would you like to go next? And then Tuan
Yeah,
after that?
definitely. And to piggyback off of what he's saying, definitely food cost is extremely important. You know, you have to learn how to shop. A lot of us, we may be great cooks, we may be great at customer service, but you have to take the time to do the math and see how your margins are coming out when you shop. You're not just shopping just because it's convenient. You may have to go all the way across town to get something different, or you may have to compare prices with different vendors so you can get the best deal, because the goal is to spend less but make more. If you can keep yours down, then your profits will be high. And you have to be consistently doing that. You can't be lazy and say, well, I'm just going to order it online or go to Walmart or Sam. No, everybody who's in business, we should be shopping wholesale. Once you buy wholesale, then you retail it. You don't go buy retail and then sell retail and think you're going to make a good profit. You're going to be out of business. So everyone that's in business or decides to get in business, keep in mind, we need to shop wholesale. Shop wholesale, and then once you start selling, that's retail. Do not buy retail if you can help it. If it's last minute and that's the only place that you can get something, there are exceptions. And then another thing we have to remember is that food is money. Food is not just food. Everything that somebody puts in their mouth, that's money, even ice. So we have to manage everything that somebody puts in their mouth and handle it in the right way. And also to keep in mind that just because the sale is down in a particular food, that doesn't mean we can't turn it into something else. Don't be so quick to throw everything away. See, I'm a chef that caters. So a lot of times there's 3 or 4 dishes that you can create out of that same meal that people may not have an interest in it in this way, but because you've turned it into something else, now it's more appealing. And again, we can give samples and things of this nature. But again, most importantly, we have to get in the habit of thinking, because you wouldn't just throw money away. So we have to think of food as money so that we're not being wasteful.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much, Chef Karen. Tuan, you want to go next?
Oh man, that man knows exactly what he's talking about, to say the least, and band too as well. But yeah, guys,
And
it's
being wasteful is very costly.
Uh, Ch- Chef Karen, you were frozen.
Yes,
So you
I
may
was
want to
frozen.
log
Yeah,
out
I
and
was
log back
just,
in, okay?
oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, so you keep frozen. So you want to log out and log back in. If
Okay.
that result that. But you keep frozen. So I had to move on to the next speaker. So go ahead, Tuan.
Chef Cream. I was telling them that you're the man. You know exactly what you're talking about. But yeah, if I can sum it up in one word, guys, it would be cash flow. Understanding cash flow is literally I would say the health of your business. And so focus on that. I would say that right now, in particular in food, especially in Van's industry and Chef Kareem's industry, it's really volatile. And so know that making money is I wouldn't say making money is easy, but keeping the money is definitely a lot harder. And so
Yeah.
always have that in the back of your mind. And yeah, I would follow their advice as well.
All right, excellent. So let's go to the next question. This is about marketing and how to bring your customer back. Okay, so tell us what's actually working today to bring in customer and keep them coming back. Who wanna go first?
I'll
That
go
must
first.
Okay,
All
all
right.
right, go ahead, Tuan.
Yeah, guys, I remember it was just the other day. I remember when I made my first Instagram post and I was so embarrassed. But now, for me in particular too, it's really cool to see how far the business has grown. I now have like a social media manager. With that being said, though, what I've learned from year one to now is that marketing for me is, I would say, like 20% content and 80% casting a net. And so for me in particular too, what my advice for you, especially now that we live in a digital age, you got to be everywhere, guys. So whether it be Facebook, whether it be Instagram, Google, cast a big net so that whether it be 5% of your business, 10% of your business, or even 15% of your business, you're casting a net to funnel it back to your business. And so be really nimble in regards to technology. It's always changing right now. We're the wave of AI is huge. Learn how to leverage that, and I would say that use if there's aspiring young entrepreneurs, use your curiosity and use your accessibility to technology to really leverage your resources. So that's mine.
Yeah.
Excellent. Vân, you wanna go next, huh?
Yeah, and I will say that Tuan and Ampersand, they do a great job at marketing their business and their products too. So, like I said, Tuan knows what's up about that.
Thanks.
But from my experience, um, I'll, I'll I'll go to a different take, and this is kind of what we do. And I think it's just treating the customers well, making good food, and just making the customer feel like family, and provide a great experience for them. And that's what my mom, that's who I work with. She's my big boss. But but uh but she's always emphasized that within the business, and once you do the right things within the business, you treat the customers with respect, and you just give them a good experience, and they'll tell their people, word spreads, because that's kind of how we grew organically over this 27 years in the Arlington community. And so just give the customers a good experience. Obviously have a good product, but and do the right things. And I think for us, that's what works, and that's what keeps the customers coming back.
All right, Chef Karen, you come back. So what?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes. All right. So go
Okay.
ahead, answer that question. What's actually working today to bring in customer and keep them coming back? And your answer will unique because you are in the B2B. Your client is corporate, right? So we want to hear
Yeah,
that.
I'm doing corporate accounts, and we're proud to announce that we have a 98% repeat customer base over 10 years. So they keep coming back. And one of the most important things, like both of my hosts said, is how we treat people. When I work for other companies, they're multi-million-dollar companies. And a lot of times, as you grow and get bigger, you tend to lose that personal touch that is real important, because everybody wants to be treated well, and when you start treating people with kindness and respect, it's not just the good food, but it's how you treat people as well, and never make people feel like it's an inconvenience for them to spend money with you. People call me all hours of the night. They call me during the day. They email me, and I always make time to answer their question, even if it's something small. And that in itself is one thing that I do. And also, how about a follow-up after an event or after someone's visited your business or your establishment? If you have access to the information or email, do a follow-up. Hey, how was everything? Because we all make mistakes. But if you can catch it, maybe you can sweeten the deal to where they'll be more than happy to come back the next time. For example, with catering, we have that one opportunity to to win that customer. We don't always get a second chance like a restaurant. This could be someone's anniversary, it could be a wedding, it could be a very special moment. So I always want to go above and beyond to exceed the expectation every time, not just sometimes, and also not just because of who the client is. We have to get in the habit of treating everybody like VIP, because when you start differentiating between who's important or who's VIP or who's not, now you have to keep changing your standard. But if you set your standard as being excellent, even if it's a baby shower, you treat them like VIP. You treat them with the same respect that you would give to the mayor or the congressman or whoever it is you're cooking for. And that's worked wonders for me. And a lot of times, my mother always said, a good name is worth its weight in gold. So once you establish this relationship with people and how you treat them, other people will promote and market your business for you. A lot of times I get calls from people who say, yeah, I got your number from such and such. They had a good time from an event that you did, and we'd like you to do our event. So if you establish your name and stand firm on it, that reputation alone will continue to bring business in.
All right, excellent. I'm loving this. All right, so let's talk about mistake. We all make mistake, right? What's important to learn from it? So, what is one mistake that you make in your business that all the people here can learn from it and avoid? Who want to go first? Okay, Van.
As you said, Kathy, we all make mistakes. The that's the normal. And then within the business, you're gonna make mistakes, but you gotta learn from them and grow from them. But I think everyone's gonna make, I would say, a hiring mistake, and I think that's unavoidable, because you just have to try people out and see. And so, because as we all know, like, the people you bring into your business is a reflection of you, your brand, your company, and so and sometimes it doesn't always work out. Even, maybe they say that, they can do all this, they can do all that, um, but for us, we give a trial basis, a trial basis for people, like, hey, come in, look, we want to see what you can do and give you a shot. And if it's going to work out on both ends, then we can continue the relationship. But if it's not going to work out, I wish you best of luck. And that is that, and so I think instead of just committing and hold on to that mistake, just kind of take your time with it, and make sure that all the capabilities, the personality, all those things check the box. And I will say too, from our experience, it's not about this, like, the skill set is important, but it's really about the personality of a person, to see if that fits the culture that you're trying to uphold, the standard that you hold. So find people that are hungry, that they're bought into what you're trying to do, and try to help the business, and so, and anything else with additional skill sets you can always train later. So that's what I have to say.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Van. Who want to go next?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Chef Corinne.
Yeah, so back to what he was saying as far as about people. Yeah, people all the time talk about all the experience they have, but training is extremely important. So one of the mistakes I could say that I made starting out was I was just bringing on people just to give them a chance. But a lot of times we have to set up systems or have systems in place so that, even though everybody comes in at a different level, if we can get these certain systems and training manuals in place, then that would be a big help moving forward, so that you don't have to be constantly trying to coach when it's time to execute. So for me, I can honestly say that in the beginning, I didn't have a lot of systems in place because it took off so fast. It initially started as 2 or 3 customers. Then next thing you know, I'm serving 40, 50 events every month. It was just outrageous. And I'm thankful for that. But now I have a few systems in place, working on more. But again, technology, like Van talked about, I'm bringing that in. So those are the type of things that can help avoid making more mistakes, is having a system that captures all of the areas that you fall weak in. or
Great.
short?
Tuan?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with them as well, too, guys. But I would say that one of the biggest mistakes I've had, and I make mistakes all the time. Yeah, it's something that's just kind of routine, regardless of how high you get, how big you get, and it doesn't really matter what person in the totem pole, too. Like everyone makes mistakes. I would say that like my biggest mistake, very broad. I know that they've gone really complex with their answers, but like just not going with my gut, Cathy. Like business is a lot about luck. It's a lot about management of team. And there's been a lot of times where didn't really follow my gut, but I knew intuition wise, like it wasn't the right choice. So this spans everywhere, guys, from hiring to like day-to-day operations to even financially. Cathy, you know my story. Maybe I can dig into it later. But not going with the gut. That's my answer. Go with your gut, guys.
That is excellent. All right, we only have a few minutes left, but I think the last question is really important. So each of you spend like a couple minutes on it, okay? So we have a lot of students here. We have a lot of people who want to start food business. So what advice would you give someone who want to start or grow their food business in the next 12 months? Who want to go first? Okay, Chef Karen.
Yeah, my biggest advice to anyone willing to get started is to grab a tablet and a pen and start writing down everything that you need. Start making a solid list of everything that you need to execute, because here's a big thing that or misconception that people think. You don't need any money to write down what you need. You don't need any money to come up with a marketing idea, to come up with a menu, to come up with your concept or your theme of doing things. But a lot of times we don't have a game plan. So if we could just grab a tablet and start mapping out what we need, and I can say this to be true for me, because when I started out, I used to see other companies, they had all these different carts, and I'd see people delivering, they had hot boxes. I didn't have any of those things. So what I did, I started making a list of everything that I needed, made a list. And then I started checking the list off. Things start coming to me. I start being able to get things. Like I said, everything doesn't always come overnight, but that's one of the biggest keys that I think would work no matter what your business is. You have to know what you want. If you don't know what you want or what you need, then you're just, you're freelancing, and that could be costly.
All right, excellent. Who want to go next?
Okay.
All right, Van.
Okay, I think what advice is probably just start small. That's what I would say. Just to test out your concept, because we can all have an idea, we can formulate that plan, and then when it comes together, you really have to test it. You have to experiment with it, and I think the best way would be, just you can do pop-ups at like small events, and then and test out what you're trying to do, see what works, get feedback from the customers, and then learn from those mistakes a little bit at the next event. And I think another thing too is you don't need as Chef Kareem was saying earlier, that you don't need the newest, shiniest things, like, but if you're just trying to start out, go to like a used restaurant supply company and buy a grill there. Right? You don't need to go buy a brand new one that's like a couple of $1,000s. You can just buy one that's used, that works, and just start small, and then scale from there.
Excellent. Tuan, you next.
Man, I mean, these guys are the real deal. I totally agree with them too as well. I know I'm agreeing with everything, but my advice would be just to do it, guys. Like, I remember literally when I was, I had nothing. Like, my story to you guys is that like I started my business with just some hopes and aspirations, probably at the most rock bottom part of my life. And now that I am here, it's beautiful, right? So my advice to you is to do it. Talking isn't going to solve anything, guys. You better take that first step and keep on running. And when you get knocked down, I always like to say that's like God or the universe testing you. And so are you just gonna stop right there? And if so, that just kind of proves the point that you weren't ready for it. Yeah, but with that being said too, like aim for the stars, guys. Like, yes, start small, but also aim big, because the worst that can happen is that you end up in the clouds. For me, my example is that, I had to take on corporate giants to get into the airport. It's a high barrier to entry industry. And, somehow, some way, we found the ability to use, to be scrappy, to have that grit, to take on the big boys. And more importantly, too, there's been a lot of people, or a lot of competitors that are going to get in your way, a lot of adversaries that are going to tell you no, but it's your job to protect your dream. And so, yeah, just do it.
Yeah,
Excellent.
consistent.
Thank you so much, Tuan. And also, I have a podcast with Tuan. I believe last year I put it in the chat, so you can go and explore about all the struggle they went through to get to where they are right now.
Yep, we've been
Okay,
through a lot, guys. So listen to it. Yeah.
so we are right on time. We have about, I would say, 10 minutes each for question and answer from the attendee. And I've been writing down question, okay? And you guys hang on, because we will finish it 1 o'clock, but the speaker already agreed to stay and then do more question and answer if you want to put the question, okay? So we will, but I will pick this one, because this one, his name is Vin. He actually put it on the Q&A, and he said, I would like the Vietnamese American guest speaker, I think it's probably either Tuan or Van, to share their opinion on franchising opportunities if available. So Tuan, any franchising in the horizon, or Van? And if yet, can you share where you're at right now?
Van, you want to go first, bro? I'll let you go first.
Okay, yeah. So I will say franchising is probably more Tuan's, because he's scaling his business in that sense, And for us, I think that there's an opportunity in the future to do that, And just to speak about franchising, it's just that everything is systemized. There's processes in place of how things are run, and so it'll make things a lot easier for the operator once you do that. But for me, not at the moment, but that's something in the future.
Mhm.
How about you, Tuan?
Vin, nice to meet you, bro. We're Vietnamese too as well, so it's always nice to see another Vietnamese person. In this moment in time, we're just trying to figure it out. We're scaling internally right now. It's always like a push and a pull for me in regards to just franchising. I don't want to lose the quality. I don't want to, lose our soul in our business. But I do think that on the horizon, it's definitely a possibility. Right now, we're focused on just delivering great products, a great experience. But sometime in the future, there might be some opportunities for us to grow. So I would love to work with you, when the time comes.
Yeah.
Also,
always open.
Shakaram, any franchising in the horizon, or we did focus on one shop right now?
Well, I mean, I'm expanding. I just, believe it or not, last night just signed a contract with a company that has over 1,500 locations. I've been pitching my idea for 10 months to them. So they finally sent me a DocuSign last night to agree to a contract with them, and it's going to be wonderful. But as far as franchising, so in the catering world, that is a possibility. I have talked to companies. There's companies out there that can set you up and, and help you come up with systems to do that. But I would recommend, if someone wants to be a franchise, to start off as a franchise. Not saying that you can't convert to a franchise, but it may be better to start off, looking in that direction if that's what you would like to do, because remember, you're trying to duplicate the exact same thing at multiple locations, and that's not an easy task for anybody. And with me, I specialize in custom catering. So, for me to try to train or teach people all of these different cooking styles, that would be a daunting task for me. So right now, my goal is just to expand on what I have. And if I did decide to franchise, it would be probably in a whole different restaurant, like maybe a Wingstop or Jersey Mike's or something of that nature. But as far as the catering, I would like to just continue growing. Like I said, I just signed this contract. I don't know how far it's going to take me, but I got a feeling that it's going to be big, and I'm just going to do what's within my scope. You can't do more than you can do. 10 people could call at the same time, but I can only answer a few calls or have a system set up to answer the calls, but I could only service so many at a time. So that's biggest challenge right now.
All right, excellent. Thank you. All right, here's a very good question from Benny. So this is what Benny say. I'm Benny, prior TCC graduate and community guest. I run a local social media agency in Fort Worth, Arlington. I hope to understand how restaurant business owners utilize or underutilize social media, the good and the bad, and so that I can better serve future restaurant clients. So who want to go first? I guess Tuan, since you guys are excellent with your social media.
Well, you guys, as in my team, is excellent with the social media, Cathy, not me. I feel like I'm getting old, guys. I feel like, although I'm relatively young in comparison to like my colleagues, I feel old. Technology is always shifting. Gen Z is a lot different than the millennials. The millennials are different from, the other people. But what I'm trying to get is that like it's always a constant wave of learning how to adapt. And so like with my generation, it was like a lot of Facebook, a lot of Instagram, but now the younger kids, it's young adults, sorry guys, TikTok shop guys, like that's hot. And so, if I was a young entrepreneur right now, or in regards to Benny, bro, like you should find or develop a department or some infrastructure to help young local entrepreneurs or business owners to develop that side within their business. I think that aligns with with your business, and that's one way to add value.
All right, who want to go next?
Yeah,
One.
I'll go. Yeah, so I will say definitely Tuan and Ampersand do a great job with social media. For me, that's definitely not my expertise, but I will say that it's important. It's important to utilize what's free out there, especially that's what social media is, and just trying to get your name, your product, your brand out there and make it accessible to potential customers. And so it's definitely utilize it, especially for a small business, because that's something that you don't really have to pay for. You can just make content, just say this is what I got, just make it easy, and the more you're out there, I would say for your business, the higher chance of converting that and capturing that the new customer to your business.
Shikaram?
Yeah, as far as social media, I've done the basic uploads and posting things. I'm very hands-on. I'm actually doing the work of 10 people. So eventually I would like to have someone who can handle most of the social media for me. Actually, I've talked to someone that you referred me to that may take on that task. I have a few people in mind, and I'm gonna stick to what I'm good at. That's one important thing, with everybody who's starting out as an entrepreneur. You cannot do everything as great as someone else who specializes in a specific area. For example, I can bake and I can cook. I can make any kind of cake, any kind of dessert, but I'm not going to sit there and say I'm going to decorate it and put a Batman on it and all these things from somebody who specializes in that area. So if I want something specialized, I'm going to find somebody who specializes in it and and work with that person to accomplish that goal. So as far as with social media, initially I started out, I bought remember the GoPro. I had a GoPro hanging around my neck trying to capture cooking in the
Yeah,
kitchen, and it's following
yeah.
me around, but I didn't get what I was looking for, because I'm trying to cook and the camera's moving, but now I'm getting more sophisticated. The bottom line is find somebody who's good at something or great, and maybe bring them on board to help, utilize those services, because social media is king if you can take advantage of it.
Cathy, can I add something to that? I'll
Sure,
be short.
absolutely. Go ahead.
And I hope this is applicable for Betty too as well. Like the biggest problem with any kind of like hospitality, especially small businesses, is I would say the price that marketing agencies really charge. It's thousands of dollars, right? Versus hundreds. My advice for you is to and kind of like what Chef Kareem said too as well. We're so busy doing what we need that we need someone to just do it for us. With that being said, though, like try to show them the ROI of the actual marketing in itself, especially with older people. It's going to be a little bit more of a sell, but show them the ROI, and then more importantly too, like ease them into it, and then find the balance between the price of the actual, the package that you're going to send them, and then the value that they're going to get back, and show them, what they're going to get from it, because it's a saturated market, kind of like coffee shops, right? Very saturated, marketing very saturated. You got to go in there and just add some value wherever you can. So, yeah.
All right, excellent. Okay, so I saw so many questions in the chat, and you gotta hang tight, okay? Like I said, we will officially end at 1 p.m., which is about 7 minutes, but those speakers already agreed to hang around and answer your question, okay, until they had to go. So just hang tight. If I don't pick your question, don't freak out, okay? We'll get to you. All right, I think I might have a question okay, I'm gonna pick Neil. So Neil owns a ramen shop in Dallas, and he come here to learn how to scale operation. And his question is, I'm struggling a little bit between friendship and leadership. I was the manager before becoming an owner, and we had that prior leadership relationship. Did you guys ever had that problem? So Vaughn, I know that you took over your family restaurant. So, and then Tuan, you have many partner, right? So, and then Chef Karen. So I don't know if you guys ever experienced that kind of issue. And we don't have a lot of time. So let's take like 30 seconds per person, 1 minute per person, okay? So that we can end this at 1 o'clock. So who want to go first?
Real quick on that, like just like working with family, that's a friendship relationship. But when it comes to business, you have to focus on taking care of business. You have to learn how to separate, your personal feelings from what you need to focus on dealing with business. Then after the business is handled, then you can go back and communicate on the personal level. I'm not saying you have to be mean, but you need to set out clear expectations before y'all get started, so that people are not thinking that they can do less of a job just because they're family or because you have some type of personal relationship with them.
All right, who's next?
Yeah.
Okay, Van.
Yeah, no, I think that it's just establishing a professional relationship, and you gotta understand, like Chef Kareem was saying, is that you gotta separate it, business is business. We gotta do what we gotta do to take care of the business, and you have to understand that. So you have to communicate those expectations onto that person to let them know that, hey, this is what I need from you. This is what I need you to get done. And how we work with each other is through respect, right? You're like, and we got to respect each other and speak in a professional manner, and how we interact. Yes, we may have a personal relationship, but that is going to be at a different time. But while we're working, while we're on the job, let's take care of business and do what we got to do.
All right, excellent, Van. And Tuan?
Very simple, but treat people kind of like with respect, kind of like what they said. Contrary to what they said too, because I'll be the first one to tell you guys, I show a lot of grace. Like I try to be the boss that I wish I had. But hey, sometimes you have to cut the fat. And so, Neil, if you have to cut the fat, because what's worse is that you extend this relationship with this particular person or people, and you're wasting time. And so, time is money. Don't sell yourself short if they don't respect you or don't respect that you're the owner. Cut the fat.
All right. Excellent. All right, with that, I am moving on to the next portion, and everybody help me to give some applause, some heart to our amazing speaker, but hang on tight, okay? I am going to our next presenter. Can you see my screen? Yes? All right, so I am going to invite Professor Zari Brown to talk about our program here at Tarrant County College. We do have an entrepreneurship and small business management program, and how is it going to help you. So Dr. Brown, are you ready?
Yes, I am. This was such a great discussion. So I am briefly going to go over the pathways, the entrepreneurship and small business pathway. Really, our program is designed for those individuals who are aspiring entrepreneurs or current business owners or students who just want to gain that practical business skill set. Also, too, what I want to focus on specifically are the different certificates and our AAS degree. So, for those students who are interested in our certificate level 1, that is the foundational. You'll gain that foundational knowledge. That is 21 credit hours. You can also continue into a level 2 certificate program. That will be 45 hours, credit hours. That will help deepen your skills as well. And these certificates are stackable, which means they feed into one another and they can be applied to the AAS program or degree, I should say, which is our comprehensive business education program, which is 60 credit hours. I also want to mention that our program is flexible, where you can go online with Connect. Do the program online with Connect. You can also do face-to-face courses, as well as hybrid classes with the Northwest and the Northeast campus as well. And really, at the end of the day, we want to be able to give our students the ability to gain real and practical hands-on experience. So if you have any questions, please feel free to visit the TCCD website. I do believe we have an advisor on the call as well. So even after the session ends, should you have a question, please feel free to post that question as well. And thank you.
Thank you so much. So if you have a question, I think Allison is in the meeting. So Allison, if you can put like the email and the contact information and the link so people can reach out to you. Like I said, don't go away yet because the speaker already agreed to answer more questions. I'm gonna close this meeting. So I want to thank the team at Tarrant County College Small Business and Entrepreneurship program for their support, especially our admin, Stephen Buster, Dr. Walker, Dr. Brown. And thank you to our speaker, Tuan, Chef Karen, and Vanley for agreeing to come to our event and share your real-world experience, and a heartfelt appreciation for everyone to participate. And then I want to end with a survey. So this survey is only 5 questions, okay? I am going to put the link in the chat so that you can do the survey. We always do an evaluation survey at the end because we want to know how do you like it. Does it work for you? Do you want the same event or you want some kind of different event? So here's the survey. So can anybody click on the survey and then put in the chat if you can access it? Is it working? And also speaker, please do the survey for us, okay? So I am going to say it again. The survey is only 5 questions. It is completely anonymous. It asks you to evaluate event. It also asks you what all the event in the future that you would like us to bring to you guys, okay? It only takes 30 seconds. So I'm gonna start my clock for 30 seconds, okay? And then we can go back and then address some of your questions. So, and if you need to go, then go ahead and log out the meeting. But if you wanna stay to listen to the speaker, answer the question, then stay here, okay? And I saw that Allison is already in the chat. So you have a question for our academic advisor, feel free to put in chat and have and see you happy to answer you all. Okay. All right. I have 15 seconds left. Okay. So so far, I only have 3 response. So please go to the survey and help us. Okay. Okay. All right.
Dr.
So
Walker.
with
This
that,
Kathy, can I say something real quick, please? Mr. Van and Tan Long, and I've met you before in our business advisory meetings, and Chef Karim. I've heard so much about all three of you. I'm sorry I came in late. I've helped out in this meeting, this webinar that we're having, but I just wanted to know, do any of you do any work-based learning for our students if they want to come in and maybe see firsthand what you guys do? Do you have
I
any
would,
of those opportunities?
I would love to. You mean like an internship type of thing?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I would love to have some people come in.
There we go, Kathy.
It's long overdue.
No, there we go. There we go.
Even,
I
even,
really
even,
appreciate.
even
Mhm.
eventually, sorry to cut you off. Eventually, I'd like to even propose a training because a lot of times, like I said, people have the experience. Experience is one thing, but training is another. You have 20 years experience and still haven't been trained on how to properly do something. And a lot of times people, they come in with all the experience, but the training, it needs to be really emphasized to turn out some real good quality entrepreneurs and future kitchen workers and just business people in general, because you can learn a lot that you can apply in other areas. It doesn't necessarily just have to be catering. It could just be how to properly run your business. So yeah, I'm open for that.
all right, that
Yeah,
will be
thank
a
you,
different
Chef.
discussion, but
Thank
I
you,
had to go
Kathy.
to the a question from the attendee, okay? So,
Thank you,
so
Chef
y'all,
Karim.
just so you all know that the speaker can stay, a little bit longer. We don't know how long it is, but I'm to go through the question in the chat, okay? And if you need to go, feel free to go. All right, so here is some of the really, really good question. Okay. So here's a very good one, and I really want to know, what are your largest financial mistake? Earlier we talked about your worst mistake, right? But this is financial mistake, and how can people avoid it in the future?
Mm, I can answer that. I can jump on it. For me, I wouldn't say that a mistake, but a lot of times in the catering world, when I talked about learning how to shop, learning how to spend for an event or spend for your restaurant. So for me, I try to anticipate orders sometimes, and that's it's like a gamble almost, because things change. People could start off and want to hire you for an event for 300 people, and then next thing you know, the numbers didn't get the RSVPs that they were looking for, and now it's 50 people, but you've already shopped ahead of time. So that could be costly if you do not know how to pivot. And as I said before, turn things into other things. You may have bought, for example, you may have bought chicken or chicken breast for a particular event for 300 people, but now they changed the number to 50 people. But you have all this chicken. So that doesn't mean it's going in the trash. That means that you're going to have to come up with another idea and create another menu to service a different event by the power of suggestion. A lot of times people don't know what they want. So it's your duty to make a suggestion. Well, how about allow me to create something for you? And what you do, you create a menu based on what you have, because that goes back to using what you have. If you get in the habit of using what you have, you'll always be profitable because you're not constantly spending. You're constantly spending. No, you got to start working with what you have. And like I said, it could have been a costly mistake, but through experience and training, I learned how to flip it and convert it into something else, if that makes any sense.
All right.
Yeah.
How about who want to go
I'll go
next? One.
next.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'll say definitely for biggest financial mistake for us is like it could just be employee, it could be food, but I'll go to a different take and it's more risk management. And so let's say having the appropriate level of business insurance for your business, for
Oh, well.
coverage, because anything can happen. And, that's kind of, we live in America, and that's a possibility. So you want to make sure that you're covered in that sense of something happening within your business. Like for example, crazy story, like within the first year of our business, or first year when we moved to the new business, somebody ran their cart into our restaurant. And so we had to make sure that, of course, we took care through insurance of their insurance and our insurance working together. But you just got to make sure that anything that happens within your restaurant, you can anticipate that and have enough coverage for that if if anything were to happen.
How about you, Tuan?
My biggest financial mistake is not having any financial education when I first started, guys. When you run a business, it's a game, guys. And I know like we talked about it earlier, but it's black and white. You make money or you don't make money. It's very binary. With that being said, too, like an example that I can give you guys too is that when we got into the airport, winning it was one thing, and then raising the capital was another. I had literally I would say an MBA in humility and an MBA in understanding cash flow. And so, long story short, I had an investor 70% in the way of towards completion of our first location in the airport. My investor pulled out. And so we were stuck with a $2.5 million loan a month away from opening and the cash flow of one business to support a $2.5 million loan. And so my advice to you is to understand how finances work from experts like Van and Chef Kareem, and to really understand how banking interlinks with not just only your business, but your own personal life too, and how the three in general, they all have to balance out for you guys to get anywhere. And so understand that relationship, understand how each one works, and that'd be a really good foundation for you guys to grow from.
Excellent. And that is also featured in my podcast with Tuan. I already dropped the link in the chat. Okay, here is a really good question. Is from Dr. Walker, I believe. Can you share a moment when your business almost failed and the decision to save it? If you ever experienced that. So Chef rarely get to talk about your near to death of the business failure publicly, but I'm sure it's all might be happy to share a story too that would truly help our students not to be apprehensive about moving forward to start a business in the restaurant industry. So I saw Van raise his hand, so go ahead, Van.
Well, I will say that, I think for all businesses in the COVID time period was extremely tough because, we're at a certain percentage of occupancy rate, and so you can go out, people were going out to eat, and so I think for us, and for most businesses, that was a very rough time. But I think one of the things that you have to do is you just have to be out there. You have to anticipate things. You can't anticipate, let's say COVID, but let's say anticipate that to make money in other ways for your business, which was obviously just like takeout. And so have your businesses already on those different platforms, and because nowadays it's different from people always going out to eat now, and people are more in delivery online, and so it's just being prepared in that sense and having those systems set up, because that's kind of what helped us. That's kind of what's kept us going in that time period, because that's the only business that you're really getting, because people aren't coming in and out of the businesses. So I think just finding ways to adapt, obviously, to the current climate, but then also always finding a way and being out there to survive, because you need to have that survival, I think, mindset to really keep going.
Who want to go next?
I can go. I wouldn't say so much as the time it was going to fail. One thing I want to stress to everyone, especially, people starting out, is, the way you think is the way it is. You can think of yourself as being successful and you haven't even served one customer. You have to get the mindset that, failure is not an option. When I was starting out, I had zero to no capital. My credit was good, but that doesn't mean the bank is going to give you any money. I cooked for the bankers. They knew me personally, but that doesn't mean they was going to cut me a check. So it got to a point where I was like, I'm so busy trying to get someone to believe in my idea. I need to just focus on believing in myself. And once I started using what I had and depending on my own connections and my own innovation, I started seeing more growth, because I can't tell you all the time somebody told me no, and I still kept asking. They tell me no all the time. I deliver lunch and be talking about my loans and everything else, and they was like, in a nice way, but basically no. So we have to get to a point where we have this mindset that we may not get the result we want, but it's never to the point to where we failed at anything, because just the fact that you're making the effort, that's success. You keep moving in the direction of what you want. And that's what I did. I kept moving in the direction of what I wanted. I started getting around people who were having success. And by association, I started having success as well. But the biggest thing that kept me from ever feeling like a failure at anything is the way that I think. You have to think and believe that you are successful no matter what it is you're doing. And by having that mindset, it will carry over into your actions.
That's excellent. Tuan, something to add?
Yeah, I agree with Chef Kareem. He nailed it on the dot. Like having that mindset has really changed my life too as well. My example for that too, to kind of touch base of like the last thing I brought up, like, I was stuck with a $2.5 million loan, with the airport on my back, the construction people on my back. And honestly, this big project was supposed to change my life, and now it became a nightmare. And, deep down in my mind, when things were going down in the gutter, I just knew that I had to find some way out. And so for me, kind of like what Chef Kareem said, is to learn how to say, like, no, to learn how to believe in yourself, and not take no as an answer. And so for me too, guys, so this is me being vulnerable. Like I got rejected from literally 69 banks. When I found out that my investor pulled out, I had two choices in life. I was like, am I going to sit here and let the universe take me down? Or am I gonna sack up and get my team to where it needs to be? And so with that being said, yeah, I was calling banks for literally, I would say, like 4 weeks straight. I got down to the last bank, number 70. They told me the same thing. You're too young. There's no collateral in the airport, and we just don't know anything about this business, nor is it a good time in the economy. And rather than taking that as a no, and I was literally this much away from giving up, guys. I always like to tell people it's the meme of the guy picking for diamonds. He's like this much and he's near the diamond pit, but if you stop there, you're never going to find the diamonds. And so for me, I got really lucky. It's a combination of work, lucky, hard work, the team. But long story short, I got to that last bank. They told me no. That following day, as soon as I was literally about to give up, we won Small Business of the Year. And so the universe shot me a sign. I called up the last bank and I told them that, and then they gave us a chance. And now we're the youngest concessionaire group in airport history. I'm the youngest CEO and at DFW in the moment in time. And more importantly, we're now trying to change it where lower the entry to barrier, and then more importantly, inspire you guys too as well, people just like us.
That's right.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. Here's a question from John Gregory. If you had to start all over again, what information do you wish you would have known? If we can go back in time.
Mhm.
Invest in Bitcoin. I'm just
If I could start over again.
Can I go first, Cathy? Or
Yeah,
Chef?
Yeah. Go ahead.
No,
Go
you
ahead.
can.
Take the hardest way possible, guys. I know that it's very easy for someone to say it now that, whenever, in the position I am now, but like, I wish I would have known that all those obstacles were also the biggest and best life lessons. Kind of like what Chef Kareem says, where when I first started out, Chef, now that I look back, I'm like, man, I didn't know anything. So naive. But now, if you ask me, guys, I'm a stone cold killer. Not in a bad sense, but like I know
That's
exactly
right.
what I'm doing. And then more importantly, that's exactly what Chef is saying, where you got to have that mindset of like it's our team versus the world, and then nothing is going to stop you. And so just believe in yourself and have and trust your gut and just yeah, believe in yourself.
All right. Anybody want to go?
I'm in total agreement. But for me personally, I don't think I changed too much of anything. I like the outcome, but I put in the work. And see, the thing about it is you can't see what's on the other side, like he said. But if you have that belief in whatever it is that you're doing, all you have to do is keep moving in the direction of what you want. And every blessing, every opportunity that you want, it's right there. But you have to be willing to do it. I can think of days when it was raining, it was cold. I was outside cooking. My first catering job, somebody called me and said, "Hey chef, I got a job. I got an event for 700 people. Can you handle that?" Mind you, my biggest event for myself may have been 10 people. But as soon as she asked me, I said, yeah. I didn't say, I don't think I can do it. I said, yeah, I can handle it. And when I got off the phone, it was like a fire drill. I just got in the moment and made it happen. I didn't worry about how it was going to happen. I just got it done. If you ever been to Walmart, which I'm sure everybody have, they have these little bitty barbecue grills at Walmart that they sell as soon as you walk in the door. They're like $20 grills. Me and one guy grilled chicken for 700 people on that little grill in the rain for 2 days to make our prep ready for that event. We executed on a whole nother level. And it was one of the defining moments because if I'd have told I wasn't able to do it, remember that word of mouth carries. Oh, he can't do a big event, or he wasn't able to do this and that. I would never give anybody the opportunity to say what I can't do. If I'm not going to say I can't do it, I'm not going to give anybody else an opportunity to say that. So again, like you said, I wouldn't change anything. I mean, if I had a rich uncle, that'd be great. But other than that, the struggle is real, but it defines you. You know, it shapes you because now you're more conscious of how you spend. You're more conscious of how you treat people. You know, you're being aware of how you had to go from riding a bike to being on the bus to get in a van to get in the car. It was like steps and stages for me to get where I'm at. But people only see the shine, but they don't know. In between times, there was a lot of grinding and struggling, no air conditioning, cooking for all these people. Everybody walk in the kitchen and be like asking me, am I hot? I wasn't hot. I was just focused on getting it done. I wasn't even thinking about the heat because nothing I could do could change it. So the way you think is the way it is. If you think it's too hard, it's going to be too hard. But I would always tell myself when someone calls, oh, that's easy. She said, Chef, I got an event for 700 people. Can you handle it? I said, yeah. I
Hey
got off
chef,
the phone.
hey chef, this is
Yeah.
Dr. Walker. You turned the fish into what? Like
Into
Jesus.
All right. Let's move on to the next speaker, please, so that we can let the
All right.
speaker go. So, Van, you want to go next?
Yeah, I think for for myself, saying actionable information is just knowing the market, right? Knowing your competition, knowing what's out there, so that you know that you can have the proper information to adapt. And so you know what the prices are out there for if you're competing in, let's say, a certain market, certain industry. And so you got to know, okay, this is what the going rate is. And if you're going to be over that, then just know that you're going to be less competitive. And so I think really understanding the market, understanding what's out there, and know what's going on, what new products are out there, what new services are being offered, what new benefit, and just that's just the always learning mentality, I think.
So what you said is if you start again, you wish that you have more information
Yep.
about your competitor, like some more market research,
that-
so you can stack your product properly. Is that correct?
Exactly.
All right. One last question, and we close that. Okay. I saw it's already 1:20, and let's make it quick. Okay. Yeah. So this is from Cassandra, and she said, when starting your business, did you have a lot of experience in your business already? I'm not sure I have enough knowledge about what I want to start my business in, or if I should try to gain more experience or knowledge before jumping in. So this is probably one of our students, you know, and let's make it short so that we can release you so that you can go back to your business. So let's make it 1 minute. Who want to go first?
I'll jump in real quick. Yeah, to start out to get experience, the one thing that I did is I started working in the business. I found a catering company. I started working with them. I learned from observation. And another thing I would do, I would volunteer to help other people that were doing different things. So once I finished my work, I would help someone who was making salads or making fruit trays or baking. So I started learning every aspect of the business. And that's a good way to gain experience. You know, you got to jump in and get around people who are doing the same thing that you're doing. And even if you're not making the money that you want to make, put the focus on what you're learning opposed to what you're making, and that will be the very thing that can help you be successful in your business, because nobody can put a price on what you're learning. But a lot of times we put so much focus on, well, how much am I going to make? But we don't know the opportunity to learn the business is right there.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Chef Karam. Who want to go next?
There we go.
All right, Van.
So I will say, yeah, definitely, because starting a business is a huge commitment. It's commitment of not only your resources, your capital, your time. And so before making that a commitment, that kind of commitment, you need to just go out there just to see for yourself if it is a fit for you. And then also just see how other people in the industry are doing things. So you're learning things from them to see is this applicable for me, applicable to my business? Can I use this? Can I help use this to scale? And so I think it's very important to, you know, if you're unsure, just go out, like I said, go out and do it. Go out and do it and try it and see for yourself. But at the end of the day, always bet on yourself.
All right, excellent. Tuan?
I say you just do it. You know, like, don't think about it too much, guys. Like it's not that serious. Like even like with me, like every day there's mistakes, there's things that go wrong, but it's not that serious. What's more important is that you kind of, regardless if it sticks or it doesn't stick, you learn through every mistake, and you never know that, you know, that one time that you tried might lead to something big. To kind of add on to what, you know, the two other hosts have said too, and me personally too as well, I've been really fortunate to have great people in my life. My business partners, although I'm like the CEO, I really get told what to do daily by them. And then more importantly too, where I lacked in experience, where I lacked in education, I found people to kind of make that up too as well. And so build your team, find people that are on the same mission, find that mission, align yourselves, and then, you know, go balls to the wall. And then more importantly too, like I know that Chef Kareem brought this up too as well. Business is a lot about people. It's people oriented. And so, you know, my advice for you guys and to close it off is to be a good person. Being a good person gets you far, and give back to the community, and you'll see that you'll reap the rewards for planting those seeds. So, yep.
Well, I cannot find a better way to end this entrepreneurial speaker series. So everybody help me show your gratitude to our speaker. Either you put something in the chat, you send them a heart, or clap your hand. And thank you so much for all your collective wisdom. Thank you for being here, spending time, stay overtime, so that you can share your wisdom. I'm gonna stop the recording. So if you all signed up for this session, you will get an email from Microsoft Team about the recording, okay? So no worry. And then I will post it on my YouTube channel so you can go back and watch it later on. Thank you so much, everybody. It's almost 1